Do yourself a favor and check out the amazing cuisine of eatlocalminnesota.com. More than just a website, eatlocalminnesota.com provides you with the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking cuisine, the Great Wall Chinese restaurant has been a local favorite since 1981. They offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include the sesame chicken, imperial beef, and Peking duck. The Great Wall restaurant is located off 45th and France, with takeout available too. More at greatwallrestaurant.us. The next time you're out in South Minneapolis, make Nightingale off 26th and Lyndale your go-to dining option. It's a comfortable neighborhood restaurant that features a delicious menu of American classics, plus a wide drink and cocktail selection. Nightingale has dining room and bar seating available, plus takeout and delivery. Current hours are 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. daily with the full menu until midnight. More at nightingalempls.com.
There really is no place like home. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Home Health. When you're faced with an illness or an injury, being able to stay at home and receive care is important. Our home health offers a wide range of services, including skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapies, aides, homemakers, in-home respite care, and 24/7 live-in care. We'll work closely with your primary care provider to come up with an individualized plan for you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 65, Thursday haze with a high near 87, and Friday partly sunny with a high near 86.
If you've been waiting to replace those appliances, don't miss Warner Stellian's lowest prices of the season. Score instant savings, then up to 10% off, and a bonus for each additional appliance you buy. Put us to the test at warnerstellian.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. We discuss local and national Native news and events. And as you know, Haley, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
You're right, Dega. This portion of the show is supported by the Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Yes, they do. What a great partner they are. And we have Dr. Stately, the CEO of Native American Community Clinic on Mondays, and it's always really great to get together and share with Dr. Stately. Hey, today we have Arvina Martin and Bob Blake from Red Lake. I always like to say that, but Bob Blake with the Solar Bear with the Solar News. And Arvina, is a former city council member, a first Native person ever elected to the Madison Common Council, and now is the executive director of Emerge Wisconsin. We are so happy to have you on as always, and thanks for spending some time with us. You see my cup right here? It says, look what it says.
Of course I start off the whole thing.
There was some good
on
words
mute.
I could, good words that came out of there. I was just
Yeah.
reading your lips.
Best things I'm gonna say all day.
Well, welcome, Arvina, and thank you so much for being on. And it's always good to share with you. And you have so many good things going on there in Wisconsin, and
Yeah.
with your work with Emerge Wisconsin.
Mhm.
And I see a guitar back there. So if you feel the need in the second segment, I'd love to hear a song. Oh,
I
wow.
wish I wish I knew how to play it. It's not mine.
Well,
Pretty good
welcome.
on
Let's
I play a main triangle though, so if you need a triangle player.
I
Bing.
play the radio really well. Oh, wow. So hey, how's it going? And what's happening in Mad City, my second favorite city in the whole United States?
Well, we're doing okay. I'm actually I'm remote today. I'm actually in San Francisco, California, but and I'm glad to be here because all of the wildfire smoke in Madison is making things pretty rough. And if you have relatives in Wisconsin, check on them and make sure that they have someone, they've got a stash of N95 masks to go outside, and if stay inside as much as possible. It sounds like it's really, really bad. And I'm grateful to be away for the time being.
Yeah, good point. And it's really bad here in Minnesota too. I didn't go for my walk this morning and the last 2 days, and I did yesterday, which was kind of a mistake because I had a really sore throat and I was coughing up stuff that I normally don't. So this is a
Yeah.
real deal, and this is global warming, and these places in Canada are not drying or dried up, and here in Minnesota, the river of Mississippi River is down low. We're right ready to have what's called a drought again here.
Yeah, the same thing down in Madison, lake levels are lower, and all the plants are unfortunately brown, and we're worried about fires. And I heard that somebody asked on a different program, like, well, how can you stop all this smoke coming down here? Well, you got to stop the fires, and there's more than 400 active wildfires out in Canada right now. So let's support our all the fire fighters out there that are trying to help protect our resources and protect people and protect all the animals. And they're really doing dangerous work, but we need folks like them to help. Otherwise we'd be in real bad shape.
Exactly, and it's just amazing that this is the worst the air's been in Minnesota since 2011, and
Mhm.
it's amazing. We've already surpassed these bad air days of 2011 too. So we're setting records again in places we don't want to.
Yeah, I heard previously that the record for, bad air quality in the Waukesha area had previously been like 160, and the last time I checked it was over 200. I'm not sure where they are right now, but that's a major jump. And I also hear that this is worst air quality on the planet right now in our little corner of the world, and we think that we're immune to that kind of stuff, and we're not. It can happen everywhere. So
Right.
I'm just looking at WCCO right now, and they posted this yesterday, but smoke from wildfires prompts a record 23rd air quality alert in Minnesota just this year.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's supposed to lighten up. We're gonna have some rain, and we had rain a few days ago, and that didn't seem to help at all. And it's hard because not anyone that has any kind of either asthma or low end emphysema or anything, this is a big bugaboo. And staying in the house after having 11 months of winter is hard for us here in Minnesota. Oh, wow.
yeah, well, and all of our, no one can go out and do outdoor recreation. And my email is filled with all kinds of cancellations for sports events and for renting boats to go canoeing. And yeah, you're right, these are the things that we've been waiting for, and we only get a few short months to take advantage of it. And people don't believe in things like climate change until it affects the stuff that we need to survive, like our air and our water. And hopefully this spurs some folks into action and makes people think about what we can do to mitigate all of this damage we as a species has done to this planet.
Right. And I think once we can get things together here nationally and get Democrats in there, we can really push the Democrats more into more progressive thinking. I think I said I think twice in a sentence, but
it's just thinking real hard.
Exactly. And that's our goal, really. I mean, our goal here in Minnesota, we've been doing such great things, but now it's time to push them over a little more to a more progressive end, because I know Wisconsin's now dealing with pipelines like we were, and we were really disappointed in our outcome and what happened. And I know there's a delay with Enbridge and Line 5, but it's still not good enough, and especially when it's crossing a native land.
Absolutely. And it just shows the need that it isn't just, what we're doing in Wisconsin or what's happening in Minnesota. This is a nationwide issue. This is a planetary issue. Finding out that we've got all of these crazy air quality issues from smoke that comes from Canada, from way really far away. It just shows the interconnectedness on all of this, and how we as states and as nations need to work collaboratively, because what happens to one of us is going to happen to all of us, and there's really no denying that.
Wow, that really does magnify that. It really, really does. Wow, that's one of the things that we need to take care of Mother Earth and Father Sky, and really believe in that. Can you stay on another segment? I'd really like
Absolutely.
To get an update of what's happening with Emerge Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And maybe a few little national things too, because we could be partying here like it's 1999 again here if we get get another conviction, or not a conviction, but get Trump under the fire again. But
yeah,
that's something to be excited about. But hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Hey, Olgama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
If the statistics say that 1 in 3 Native women and 1 in 6 Native men have experienced sexual assault in their lifetime, it means our whole community is affected by sexual violence. 1 is too many. Don't stand by, stand up. Don't engage in acts of sexual violence, and shut down the dirty jokes, the gossip, the victim blaming and shaming. As a community, we can change the way we respond. Contact the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition to attend a workshop to learn more. Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl. Howl!
When it comes to mental health, making connections with others can be a way forward. How do you reach out when you need someone? What do you do to support those who struggle? Connections can bring comfort, hope, and joy. Find ways that work for yourself and others, like sending a text, sharing a moment, offering a hug, seeing an old friend, creating space to listen. Visit cmentalhealth.org. That's cmentalhealth.org. cmentalhealth.org.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. This is Spirit from Reservation Dogs. Get up and listen.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Minnesota 350, a grassroots organization fighting for climate justice.
Yes, they do, and yes, they are. Hey, we're here with Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Emerge Wisconsin, and we, I was just commenting in our private chat that no one can see is that, wow, that first segment went really quick. That's crazy, but that's a good sign instead of going, oh my God, it's just going on. That's a great sign. So, hey, I want to catch up a little bit with what's happening with Emerge Wisconsin and where you're executive director. Well, give us an update of what's happening.
Yeah, we just had our last training program weekend. So the 6-month training for the class of 2023 is now complete. We have a amazing cohort of women that are intelligent and strong and capable and empathetic, who are ready to take on the world and take on new challenges and run for office. And I'm really proud of all the work that they've done over the last 6 months, and really they really worked hard to try to understand new ideas and concepts and training on things that can be really difficult, like asking for money and raising money for your own candidacy. That's one of the scariest things to do as a candidate is ask people for money. We had a really great class, and they're going to be going through their graduation next month. And in the meantime, I have my eyes open, and I'm looking for any future members of the class for the class of 2024. If you are out there listening and you're in Wisconsin, check out our website. It is wi.emergeamerica.org to find out more about what we do, or you can email me at arvina@emergewi.org.
That's exciting. Just to remind our whole audience what your organization does, it kind of getting women involved. And another thing too, I'm excited after you do that is like you could when you're going to be guest hosting my show, you can have a few of them on as guests.
Why not? Yeah. Oh, and guess where we're having our graduation?
Green Bay.
No, we're gonna go have it at the Ho-Chunk Nation branch office. So,
which one?
Yeah, it's a great space. Yeah.
Oh, geez, you'll have to invite me to come down.
Absolutely, you'll have to come on down.
We'll do a live show.
Yeah. They can practice all of their public speaking skills that they've learned.
Well, they'll learn it from you because, I'm the king of ums over here. So, but yeah.
I was going to say too, they also got to go through the first training of the Tribes 101 presentation, which they got a longer presentation, but you got to check out some of that, a shorter version of it, and get a taste of kind of what it's like to be in one of my classes.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I even got to ask a question about land acknowledgement.
Yeah. We get questions about that kind of stuff all the time, and making sure that if that's something you're going to do, make sure it's not performative, make sure it's the beginning of your process and not the end. It's the starting point. It's not the end product.
Right on. And so how many people are graduating?
We have a small but mighty class this year. We've got about 8 I believe students that are going to be graduating. We had a big year of burnout after several election cycles that were pretty brutal, and now we have like a whole year between the spring elections and then our next elections in 2024. So I'm hoping that all of our folks that are, especially any Wongshiks out there that are thinking about getting involved in campaigns, or using this time to recharge, and what you can be ready and raring to go when it comes time to either apply for Emerge and learn how to run for office, or also to or work on a campaign or run for school board. We need more Native folks at every level of government, and not just in our tribal governments. We need Native people representing on city councils, and we need people of all groups, and because we all have blind spots, and with our different experiences, the more diverse our governing bodies are, we're covering more of these blind spots, and we can make better policy that helps more people, and use our money and our resources more wisely, and that's why we need to have a diverse government at every level. So anybody out there, any women or any non-binary folks that feel comfortable in female-centered spaces, we welcome your application. And I'd love to talk with you about what you think you might want to run for.
That's 8 is significant. I think 8 is significant, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Also too, when are we gonna, with our new Supreme Court person that we had on, and I wanna say, Protasewicz, because I worked on that name over and over again before I had her on.
Yeah.
Is that gonna help our gerrymandering problems? Because, in Green Bay, I ran into our relative Trisha Zunker, and I wish it could have been, but that gerrymandered so bad where she was
Yeah.
running. Oh,
Yeah, well, I hear somebody's cat has some opinions on gerrymandering too. So
that's
use your voice,
fine.
kitty. Make sure you're heard. No, I know that there's different organizations that are working on an appeal to the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. I imagine the folks on the other side of the issue are going to try to delay as much as possible, and try to delay any decisions that could change maps to be more fair, as long as they possibly can, which is terrible. I mean, fair districts, fair maps are something that we all should be valuing, and wanting to make, in order to make sure that people's voices are in fact being heard.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, we're really excited too, and I think just the partnership and knowing you and Wisdoms, and we have the governor stop in now once a week. That gives us a report of
Yeah.
Wisconsin, and the lieutenant governor, who I happened to meet at the convention that I got to MC and not mess up anybody's name. I'm gonna say I did a good job.
Nice.
And she'll be coming on too. So we're excited to amplify the Wisconsin Democratic voice, like yours, and the leaders, and the soon to be leaders going through Emerge Wisconsin.
Yeah, we're to a point where Democratic leaders are understanding, and they know the importance of creating authentic relationships, and not ones that are just transactional, and coming and making sure that you're talking with tribes and tribal members always, and not just at campaign time, or not just when you need some fundraising to get done. And they're excited to learn, because even though Act 31, which requires Native history to be taught in public schools, is a law that's on the books in Wisconsin, it doesn't happen. And there's so many people that are like, if I do one of my presentations about tribes, they're like, how come I didn't know this?
Right.
This sounds like something I should have learned in high school or middle school or elementary school. And they're right. And so we have a lot of our Democratic leaders who are there to listen and to learn, and understand that the differences between working with tribes and working with other groups of people, and understanding, listening to us about the issues that are important to us.
Exactly. And I just got to chime in on the radio side. I think the Republicans do that much better. And I think the Democrats are kind of learning that, hey, Trump would go on some station that nobody heard of and anoint them as the speaker, and people would be listening. And I think we, especially here in Native Roots Radio, we're not into gotcha. We want people to speak their truth. So I think people are realizing that in the progressive end, and I'm excited about that. And I'm excited to have you on as much as possible. And, those kind of great things that are happening, I think.
Well, I think you see in democratic communication strategies the importance of, if this was a transportation system, we would call it multimodal. We want to make sure that people are reaching out and speaking on radio and speaking on local TV and national TV and on podcasts and blogs and there are candidates that use TikTok to get messages out to voters, and you got to figure out where your audience is and then go there to reach them.
Hey, we got a minute left. I just want you to speak your truth here. This last minute here, we're here with Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Emerge Wisconsin. You have the floor.
Oh, this is a time that, oh my gosh, the floor. I'm going to use up most of this to hem and haw, but I don't know what to say. Oh my gosh, you rendered me speechless.
No, that's perfect. We really appreciate you stopping in, and we'd like to do it more often too. And
absolutely,
thank you so much for being on. And
yeah,
you're a few more shows away from now co-hosting or not co-hosting the show, but hosting the show when I'm on vacation. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I look forward to receiving my golden headphones and microphone in the mail.
Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back after this short break with Bob Blake from Red Lake. Oh, wow.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Hey, this is Robert Pilot. I taught in St. Paul Public Schools for over 25 years, and I want you to join the team and make a difference in our children's future. Right now, St. Paul Public Schools is offering hiring and retention bonuses up to $10,000 for a variety of teaching and classroom support positions for the next school year. Grow in a supportive and fulfilling public school setting. Limited bonuses are available, so don't delay. Apply at spps.org/careers.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus over 30 extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Hi, this is Angela Warner for Warner Stellian Appliance. Do you have a dishwasher that doesn't really clean your dishes, so you have to? Or a refrigerator that kind of keeps your milk cold and you've just been waiting for the right time to buy? Well, Warner Stellian has the lowest prices of the season with exclusive savings, including free dishwasher installation on brands like Bosch, and up to 10% off and a bonus for each additional appliance you buy for up to $1,000. See what I mean at warnerstellian.com.
Hi, Matt McNeil for Rudy Luther Toyota. You've heard me talk about the Rudy Luther Toyota We Buy program. Now hear from someone who's actually done it, me. Our kids' car, the 2006 Toyota Sienna, served us well for 17 years, but it was finally time to say goodbye. The We Buy program is really simple. I gave them some basic information, we set up an appointment, and after a quick verification, they gave me an estimate and a check, and they made me a generous offer. It was that fast. See for yourself. Try the Rudy Luther Toyota We Buy program at rudyluthertoyota.com.
Hey, it's Tom. Fossil fuels continue to have negative impacts on our environment. Luckily, there are more ways now than ever to use renewable energy in your home or business. All Energy Solar offers smart energy solutions like custom solar paneling, electric vehicle chargers, and energy storage. Solar panel systems can last for decades, meaning you can help the environment and cut back on electric bills for years to come. There are incentives and rebates available to most people who install solar energy, too. Last year, the federal solar tax credit increased to a 30% tax credit. This incentive can be used in combination with other incentives from your utility, county, or city. But don't delay or miss out, as many of these incentives are limited to only a certain number of people. So have a professional from All Energy Solar help you discover how solar can power up your property while saving on your energy costs. Call 800-620-3370 or visit allenergysolar.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 65, Thursday haze with a high near 87, and Friday partly sunny with a high near 86. Eat Local Minnesota is a great way to find locally owned restaurants and food purveyors. They feature high-quality food and unique eating experiences for your next meal. Some of those restaurants and food purveyors include the Park Tavern and 30 Bales. Find a full list of all of our restaurants and food purveyors at eatlocalminnesota.com.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, we're here with Bob Blake from Red Lake, and we're here with the Solar Bear with the Solar News, and it's always great to see Robert, and I have to talk business with you very soon here in the next few hours here. I've got to text you, but great to see you, and always great to hear your updates. So thanks for coming on, Robert.
Hey, Robert, how's it going? Hey, have you noticed we are under a health like air quality alert? And you know, yeah, and this is like, I mean, I want to say from here to like what, the East Coast or something like that, like.
Right.
And this is climate change. I mean, this is what's happening from the fires because of climate change. And get this, Robert. I want to read you the first. I want to do the first story here real quick. And this is I think really interesting. And this really does say a lot about the mentality. Okay, and it's Michigan Republicans dismiss climate change as a theory, and they're rejecting established science as they attack proposed clean energy targets. So the state of Michigan, everybody, is trying to reach some climate goals. Legislation is being proposed by probably Democrats in the state of Michigan, and the Republican legislators in Michigan are rejecting this climate change as just a theory, and I can't believe that these are the politicians that we are electing into office to lead us, and so we need to do something about this. We can't. These individuals are going to lead us down a bad road if we continue to, and I'm obviously in Minnesota, Robert. So, but still, I mean, what happens in Michigan is going to ultimately affect us because, like we say, Robert, in the native way, everything is connected.
Yes, exactly. Well, I think, thank goodness, too, and maybe Haley can check on this, but they have a trifecta also in Michigan now, and that was a miracle where their House and Senate and the governor are Democrats. So those Republicans can whine all they want, and it's not going to happen. But I think it's plain to see, and we talked about it in the first segment, Robert, just how bad it's been. Wendy was in New York when it was the worst place, air quality in the whole world. And then came home, and a week later, it was the worst air quality in the whole world here in the Twin Cities. I can't go out and walk. I can't go out and walk the dog. I'm a lifelong smoker. I quit smoking 17 years ago, but still, all those things add up to health problems with air quality.
Yeah, and that's and it really just kind of like amazes me, Robert, that politicians like this, especially in
Mm.
Michigan, would have this attitude when Ford, the big three,
Right.
right, are like massively producing electric vehicles.
Right.
And this is creating thousands and thousands of jobs in the state of Michigan. And these politicians are like going against what their constituents are
Right.
basically saying to them, like, hey, and so it just like baffles me that the idiocracy of some
Yeah.
politicians and their ideology um is just beyond like my comprehension. I'm sorry, but
Well, it's just really happened the last 15 years where it's really switched because we just had like just recently, what is it, Senator Dave Durenberger, who is a Republican and reelected here in Minnesota many times. And the things they eulogized him for, he sounded like a left-wing wacko, but yet he was just doing good things for his state, like we all should be thinking instead of the doing good things for the 1% billionaires.
yeah, and I should stop too because like you bring up a good point there, Robert. I think about like what Arnold Schwarzenegger did as a
Yeah.
Republican for the state of California, you know, and here's a guy who literally started this clean energy wave, and he was a Republican.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it wasn't for Arnold Schwarzenegger and his ideas around wanting to get into green green clean energy, and he talks about doing the good things for the world and for the planet.
Yeah.
Would some of these would Gavin Newsom be doing some of the things that they're doing out there in California right now? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
that was started by a Republican governor.
Who is married to a Kennedy.
Yeah, right to a Kennedy. But my point being though,
Right.
sometimes it's not about party. It really is about the individual and about them doing ultimately what is right. You know,
Right.
irregardless of party ideology. And we need more of those politicians doing the right thing.
Exactly, and hopefully we can smear out this and have a huge blue wave in the next election here because like you throw out numbers like 70%, and there's a lot of 70 and 60% of the country that are totally against what the Republicans now stand for. And I mean, they're ridiculous. They're trying to go after Biden and his son and bring up Hillary every chance they can, but yet they got a couple lunatics running around that they don't say anything about or call on. The representative from Long Island. He's nuts. He's like literally nuts, but they want
Yeah.
to go after Hillary's emails that they spent $43 million on in 5 years investigating.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, I how does that guy even get in? I mean, it's
Gerrymandered.
yeah, and it's lies, right? I mean,
Yep.
it's just constantly lying. Hey, Robert, 1,800 no emission buses have been added to the U.S. roadways since the infrastructure law, the IRA, took place. I mean, that's just
Wow.
incredible. Um, you know, um, so that nearly doubled the emission, doubled the buses that were there before. So, I mean, and Robert, these are buses that provide transportation to kids, to our youth, that are not polluting the air, and like you said, Robert, some of us, have these health problems, and for the listeners out there, that's the whole idea of having these zero emission, buses, is that we're going to have a lot cleaner air. And one of the interesting points about us doing the Intertribal Electric Vehicle Charging Network with the American Lung Association as one of our main partners, Robert, is their dedication to providing clean air for everyone. And it just amazes me, when we first started this project, how much the American Lung Association knew about electric vehicles and why it's important to have these zero emission, forms of transportation, so we have cleaner air for everyone. And that just amazes me when I think about them as being one of our key partners in the Intertribal Electric Vehicle Charging Network. But also, the IRA has doubled the amount of zero emission buses on the road right now. This is a good thing, everyone. This is a good thing that Biden and the Democrats have done. I mean, these things should be celebrated instead of being chastised.
I listened to the news before. There's a 2-minute news break before we start our show. And I always think of you, Robert. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we were talking about solar panels on schools. And now it come to fruition that it's in law that they can do that. That's just amazing, and just how quickly the world and good ideas happen. So I just want to give you a big shout out on that, because you've been talking about that before it was vogue.
Yeah, and I and of course, Robert, I ran for city council, and I was spitting out all these ideas, and I was saying, hey, let's put let's paint our bikeways in paint that will reflect in the evening. The Dutch do it, and what it does, Robert, is not only is it encourages more people driving their bikes or riding their bikes right around. They found that they're in the communities, that there was also where communities got safer because people felt safer because the glow in the dark paint was all around the area that they were driving. And these are some of the things that we need to think about, or think outside the box in the Twin Cities and other cities, to make our community safer. Glow in the dark paintways for bicycle ways. I mean, it's like, it's genius.
Exactly. And I thought it was genius too, with having panels on all these schools and being able to afford teachers, but also getting students right in on manufacturing or learning about electricity or becoming electricians. Bob, we got to take a quick break. Can you come back and howl with us real quick?
Absolutely.
Right on. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we're with Robert Blake with the Solar Bear with the Solar News, and we'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Hey, Olgama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Life is a journey, and the Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas will help you get where you want to go. Located in downtown Minneapolis, this affordable 2-year college provides free textbooks, a laptop, meals, career coaches, and a Metro Transit pass, making DFC the perfect pathway to a bachelor's degree. Turn your dreams into reality at Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas. Apply today at dfc.stthomas.edu.
Hey, this is Robert Pilot. I taught in St. Paul Public Schools for over 25 years, and I want you to join the team and make a difference in our children's future. Right now, St. Paul Public Schools is offering hiring and retention bonuses up to $10,000 for a variety of teaching and classroom support positions for the next school year. Grow in a supportive and fulfilling public school setting. Limited bonuses are available, so don't delay. Apply at spps.org/careers.
Your Blue Line Extension project wants to hear from you. We are working on extending the Blue Line light rail into North Minneapolis, Robbinsdale, Crystal, and Brooklyn Park and connecting it to our growing transit system. Tell us about your neighborhood, your business, your family, and what you need from your Blue Line. Learn more and share more of your story at yourblueline.org. That's yourblueline.org.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Yeah, I could hear 3 howls. Thanks, Bob. Hey, we're here. This is Native Roots Radio, and we're here with Robert Blake with Solar Bear with the Solar News. And I know you got a couple more things to bring up, Bob, but there seems to be some positive funding going on out there, some grants, some things happening. We're inching towards there, but maybe not as fast enough, but we're heading in the right direction. But again, welcome back.
Yeah, Robert. I want to talk about this one quick story here, real quick, about the exports of solar modules coming out of China into the United States. 70 gigawatts of solar panels are coming out, out of China exports. Robert, this is a heck of a lot of solar panels. I mean, we're talking massive amounts of solar panels that are coming out of China. And interestingly, because of the, there was a holdup on tariffs, and there was actually some lawsuits that happened, with, some of the manufacturers in China, and were they using child labor? And there was a lot of questions that came involved and about this. And so what happened was the Biden administration decided to put together a kind of chain supply, or not a chain supply, but it's a chain supply around solar panels, manufacturing, and have just put billions of dollars towards this. So we're here in the United States are really going to start ramping up our own production of our own solar panels, that we know for sure that we're following strict guidelines around manufacturing, and that employment of age individuals are doing this and stuff. And so I just think about the statistic here: 70 gigawatts coming out of China of solar panels being exported. And then I think about these billions of dollars that are going into this manufacturing supply chain around solar panels being made here in the United States, wafers, I mean, you name it. This administration is really going, doing a lot of good in creating all these new jobs, manufacturing jobs. Robert, this is really good news for this country.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting, and just to things are changing, and that's good, and that's just a great example too. And hopefully for all, and that's important too, to make sure that our BIPOC, our relatives get in on this gravy train, so to speak, in a good way, with getting renewable and lowering costs and selling stuff back, energy back, and get in on this. So it's exciting.
It really is. And I want to put another statistic out there real quickly, Robert. Now there's some more solar news because Robert, we just don't talk about what's happening here in the United States. We like to talk the solar news, and the Solar Bear likes to talk about everything. And one of the cool stories coming out here, Robert, is 600 megawatts of installed PV in Ireland. They are rapidly approaching 1 gigawatt. So if you think about that, the state of Minnesota has about probably 1.5 gigawatts, going on 2 gigawatts now. So we are ahead of Ireland. But I like talking about this because I think about the Irish and some of those stories and how they were like friends to Native folks. And
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like, I always like thinking about, kind of the cool things that are happening in their country and in how they, they've looked out for Native people and Native people have looked out for them, and that symbiotic relationship. So
Right.
they are rapidly approaching 1 gigawatt of solar in Ireland. So kudos to all the Ireland and Irish folk out there that are putting up all that solar in their country. That's wonderful and great news.
Yeah, just to remind everyone, the Native Americans during the potato famine in Ireland sent money that probably they couldn't afford to help try and help the Irish people, and forever then in the 1800s we've been allies and friends. So it's amazing.
Yeah, I think, oh, this is a great, yeah, they teach Native American history in Irish schools. That's really cool. Yeah, no, I always I know that story. I don't know the full story, but I do know that there's that connection. I've heard Irish people talk about that before, and I
Mhm.
always thought that is pretty cool. So I always like to kind of keep track of what they're doing around renewable energy over there, and
Exactly.
in how they're doing things. And one more last story here, Robert, but something just came out recently around the need from the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, NREL, out in Colorado. So this is the research facility that kind of does a lot of this renewable energy work in this country. It's a government funded facility that, and Robert, I was just out there recently. It's absolutely incredible. And the stuff that they're doing out there. And so I just want to say that I've seen firsthand that our tax dollars are being put to good use at this facility. Trust me, everyone.
Yeah.
But they're talking about, they're making a target of 63.4 terawatts of installed photovoltaics by 2050 and 2060. And you know, this is all over the place. I mean, this is incredible. This is so many jobs. It was just recently reported that renewable energy and solar specifically is the fastest growing
Yeah.
um, you know, uh job in this country
Right.
right now, outpacing, Robert, all the oil and fossil fuel jobs right now. So think about that. The fastest growing job in this country is in renewables and not in fossil fuels. That is something to be celebrated with. And that has really been the Inflation Reduction Act that has really
Yes.
propelled this. Because now with that little government subsidy, you start adding all of the investment dollars from other places, and it just creates a capital stack that
Mhm.
there's just so much happening around it. And so I think that should be celebrated. And I mean, this this thing is not ending. It's the train has left the station. I'm sorry, everyone, and this is going down, and we are headed towards a renewable energy future in this country and in the world, I would say.
Absolutely. Hey, Robert, why don't you give out, before we let you go, give out your 2 websites here, so people can, reach out to you and, ask you questions and maybe, hire you to put up a big garden somewhere, a solar garden.
Yeah, here you go, everyone. It's solarbear.earth, www.solarbear.earth, and also Native Sun, www.nativesun.org. And Native Sun is the nonprofit side, and Solar Bear is the company side. So please just reach out to, go to the website. You can see Robert at solarbear.earth, Robert at nativesun.org. And thank you, Robert, Miigwech, everyone, for having me. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks for hauling with us, sticking around and hauling with us too, Robert. Have a great day. And hey, I'm going to try and get a hold of you tomorrow. I got a few things I got to talk to you about. Ho!
Okay, pal. And like the Solar Bear says, keep on solaring on, everybody.
Right on. Right on, Robert. Wow. Wow, Haley, that was awesome to see Robert Blake. As always, just enjoy our conversations and some updates of what's happening around the world in the solar realm.
Right. Hoping to get those solar panels on every school, hopefully in Minnesota.
That'd be awesome. Hey, I want to thank Arvina Martin. Was a fast, quick interview, it seemed like, and she's full of energy and really stopping in and talking about the great work that she's doing and talking about us natives across Turtle Island. And of course, Robert Blake, and of course, and Haley, Peeny Gigi, for all you do. And we're going to be back tomorrow. And you are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. Please be safe out there with this air quality. And if you are listening to the show, you are part of the resistance. We're still here. We are the seventh generation.
Free Leonard Peltier now.
Now is the perfect time to prepare for summer reading, and Next Chapter Booksellers